Hi guys, and welcome to the EmpowHer Journey for those who want it all. So this community is here to support you in your self-growth and help you to live by your own rules. And today we are extremely excited to have on board Mathy Lisika-Minsende. Hey, welcome Mathy.
Hi. Hey, hello everybody.
Hello. We're really excited. Hi Anna, how are you doing today?
Hello guys, I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, great. Just on fire, really. I'm just so excited to hear more about what Mathy does and what she does. Her expertise is to help female entrepreneurs who feel really shy, and she helps them to rock in public speaking and speak with confidence, authenticity on stage and camera, so they can stand out from the crowd. And well, she does it all, doesn't she? She's a TEDx speaker, conference speaker. She runs also on a ready course for, having confidence and public speaking on camera. She's the author of the amazing book, Quit or Embrace Your Job Crisis. And you also have a YouTube channel, Good Morning Mathy. Yeah, so you can reach out to her this way. And yeah, before she tells us more about herself and her journey, just a word about what she loves. She loves traveling. She's multilingual. She has really this open idea on and openness to the world and cultures and languages. And she loves Ben and Jerry's. And what I wanted to share with you is that she's a pancake burger expert. Yeah, I'm going to repeat that, a pancake burger expert. And if you want to know more about this, you'll have to watch the TED Talk that she's done that you can find on YouTube and her YouTube channel. So I'm going to shut up now because we want to hear from you. So Mathy, can you tell us about your empowerment journey? Tell us more about yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Clemens and Anna, for having me. And you guys have just given away my secret of the pancake burgers. We should both not to keep it till the end.
A bit of teasing.
Yeah. We were going to tell you. So thank you so much for having me, ladies. It's really beautiful to be able to share a little bit my journey and a little bit of what I do, especially because it's International Women's Month. So we talk about, acknowledging women, achievements. So that's a wonderful thing. So let me tell you about my empowerment journey. So my empowerment journey started, I guess, over 10 years ago. I literally was at a crossroad where I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with my life. And I was in a job, but I wasn't really happy. My dad was really sick at the time. He had cancer. And I was like in that in-between stage. And I used to work specifically helping people to find their direction in careers, in life. And I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I was the one where everyone used to say, hey, Matt, I've got this problem. I need some advice. What would you say to me? And here I was, not knowing what I'm supposed to do. Have you had that feeling before? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, like you were a natural coach, a natural go-to person, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was naturally like that. But it gets tricky when you have to do your own coaching yourself. And you have to find your own direction. But as I was going through this transition period and my dad was really sick and I was asking myself lots of questions, I started being curious, going to lots of different events, and just thinking, what should I do? Should I make the jump? And lo and behold, my dad passed away. I lost my job. Everything kind of went under. They pulled the rug underneath my feet. And I just jumped. I was like, okay, I got to do it now. So I started an online blog, which was called What the Job Is This, trying to find myself. And eventually I created small business opportunities for myself. I started, a lot of it was digital marketing and helping small businesses in their social medias. So those were like my first business ventures in the early days, like back in the 2011, like working from home. What we can't really do now, I was already doing back then. But it was all like tests, you know, kind of happy accidents and all of these things that kind of made me, you know, more curious about finding myself, you know, finding things that empowers me, finding things that make me more authentic and being myself. And over the years, I worked in this industry. I was able to do lots of different things like public speaking, workshops, but creating that visibility online allowed me to develop more opportunities. And to the point when 5 years ago, I realized that even though I was, doing a lot of work with small businesses and still giving kind of career advice, I decided that really I wanted to help people who felt like they weren't really heard or they weren't really visible. And it's funny because I felt like even though people knew me, I didn't feel like people really knew me authentically. And I really wanted to help women who didn't have the confidence to be authentic, to speak with authenticity and confidence. And through a lot of these things, a lot of different experiences, I ended up here. And after the lockdown, 2020, I was just like, okay, I'm going to launch my online course about camera confidence. And now I edit videos as well. I do pretty much everything. Teach people how to speak more confidently in meetings, public speaking, just that personal confidence that you need to have when you feel nervous and afraid and anxious. And that also led me to talk about finding out more about pancake burgers, which I'll tell you about soon.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Oh my God. We still want to know now.
Yeah, I just love the fact that now you've got perspective over like 10 years of your life, so that we get to explore with you your empowerment journey in the longer term. And I love the fact that you described it, how it got refined, how it started this way and this thing led to another. And this is usually what happens, isn't it? You take that first step and you're discovering what's happening, what's next for you, which is absolutely amazing.
Definitely. Thank you. And it's not a simple journey. It's not an easy journey. I cannot say, many times we watch people from afar and we think, oh, wow, they're amazing. Wow, they're doing so good. And you have no idea what's going on behind just underneath the desk. Is probably they're padding like this. Ducks, and they on the above they're looking like this, but underneath they're going like that, right? So that's that's kind of been me in a way, because I think that there's been lots of trials, there's been lots of changes, there's been lots of tears, there's been lots of ups and downs, and you have to learn to readapt yourself in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Reminds me of something you were sharing with me, Anna, that you could access with some very successful people to the version of their website when they started, and you can go back in time and you can realize everything that they've had to do to get where they're at, right? And this is absolutely fascinating, and it really helps you. It makes you feel better as well. You're like, okay, yeah, this is a working process. I keep on improving. I don't have to get there straight away. I'll get there eventually by following that process, right? It's necessary.
Success never happens in one day. You really have to work for it and to change and to transform with it. And that's the beauty of the journey.
Yeah, it definitely is a beauty.
Learn so much from that. Yeah.
So as we were saying, you're a public speaking coach now. You coach women who are shy to talk in front of people. You did a TEDx. Can you please share with us your secret? Because I know public speaking is the most fear from all over the world. People fear to speak in public. And I recently started to be a part of a Toastmaster club to learn all the tricks to be confident speaking in public. And what are your secrets? How do you train?
So first of all, public speaking is worse than death. People rather commit suicide than go and speak in public.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Probably like, I'm jumping the building. I don't want to do public speaking. And funny enough, we do a form of public speaking all the time. I look at it as public speaking for me is conversations. If you think of it as having a conversation, developing a connection with the other person, it takes away the nervousness. It takes away the anxiety. And that's one way, that's the first thing I feel about public speaking. It's really having a conversation. So when you are about to deliver your presentation or your meeting or talk on camera, just imagine, talk to your friends, you know, what would it be like to actually talk to someone that you knew? When you talk to someone that you know, you're more confident, you feel more yourself, you know, you come with that energy, and it's not made up, it's not fake, it really is more of you. The other thing about public speaking is you've got to be present. Yeah.
Yay!
Like, you've got to be present. And I read this book by a lady called Amy Cuddy. I don't know if you guys heard of her.
Yeah.
She has a wonderful TED Talk.
Yeah,
and
she's amazing.
Yeah, you have. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I've like that the book by Presence by Amy Cuddy has become like my Bible. I make a lot of students and my clients read or watch the TED video, and I break it down why I encourage it. So Amy is a psychologist from Harvard University, and she talks about something that a lot of people in the creative industry have been doing in drama for years. So you know, I used to do drama at school. They used to tell us, okay, be present, breathe, be here, don't be over there, be here, center yourself. And all of these things, you know, in drama school, people used to say, oh, it's woo-woo stuff, you know, it's not really serious stuff. But as soon as you see someone like Amy Cuddy, who is a professor at Harvard University, talk about it, it gives a different kind of level. And presence is really about bringing your best self to the moments where you're most afraid, where you're most nervous, where you're most fearful. And it doesn't just have to be when it's public speaking. It can also be when, say, for example, you have to tell, you know, you have to break it down, you know, seriously important news to someone that you know. Or you know, you need to speak to your boss about something that you don't like, or you need to tell someone that you really like them or something like that. But it's all the different instances where you feel nervous about, you know, saying something that you really need to say, and, you know, having that perfect amount of courage to be yourself and say it with conviction. And that's what really presence is about. It's also not thinking about what everybody else is thinking, because majority of the time when, you know, this is an interesting thing, because I teach presentation and public speaking to people who don't speak English, or who are who are learning English as a second language. So I teach them those skills so they can actually do their interviews, they can do their meetings. And then you have the people who speak the native language, who speak English, and guess what? They have the same problem. Everybody thinks the same way. Everybody thinks, oh my God, my accent sounds bad. Oh my God, my voice sounds terrible. Oh my God, I don't want to hear myself. Oh my God, everybody's going to laugh at me. Can they understand me? Whether you speak English or whether you're learning a second language, you have a problem.
That's so interesting.
And everyone is trying to say, no, it's not true. This person who's a native does not have the same problem as myself. That's impossible. But it's true.
It really shows that it's all in there, isn't it? It's not really.
It's a new language. Public speaking a foreign language. creating art, creating anything, using social media, all of these things are languages. And languages have to be learned a certain way. You know, you have to learn to connect, and you have to also know what sort of things are blocking you from actually being able to speak. You know, majority of the time, as Clement said, it's the things that we say in our inside our head, or things that people have said to us that stop us from actually taking the risk. Or, oh my God, I'm going to post my video for the first time for my business, and oh my God, everybody's going to see me. Oh my God, it's going to be bad. The internet's going to break down. I'm going to have one view. We all have the same thing. And you're never going to believe it, but when I first started making videos on YouTube and online, I had the same problem, just like everybody else. Like, I'm okay now, but I had the same problem. That's the truth. So really, when you are about to speak in public, you have to have a conversation. You've got to be present. You have to know the things that stop you, and you have to prepare and practice. You've got to know the subject. You don't necessarily have to choose a completely different subject, but you've got to talk about what you know, and you have to perfect it. You don't need to be a natural speaker. Now, I am a natural speaker. However, I hated the camera for a very long time. I was terrified of it. I'm not going to lie. I was absolutely terrified, but I had no problem speaking in public. Now, some people have either one or the other, or they have both problems. Regardless of what you have, you still have to know your subject. If you know the subject, or if you have more knowledge or information about that specific subject, and you have passion to talk about that subject, trust me, the people that are listening to you will connect more and will be able to convey, you'll be able to convey that information much better, and they'll be able to receive it better. The last thing I want to add for public speaking is, and this is what most of us don't realize, is your audience is your friend.
It's really a shift in perspective.
Your friend. It's your cheerleader, it's your buddy, it's your best friend. It's that person goes, yeah, go Clement, go Anna, go. If you don't believe me, I want you to go and read about Lauryn Hill. Right? I'm sure you guys know who Lauryn Hill is, the big American a rapper. She's major. Lauryn Hill is always late to her concert. She's always late. She has a reputation for being late, but her fans are always on time. They never miss a concert, and they you know, some people will complain, but they will come back. They'll be like, waiting here for Lauryn Hill until she comes. I don't care. I'm gonna be here, because they believe in her. They're her cheerleaders. They're her supporters. They're her friend. They have her back. You know, have you ever seen Beyonce's fans?
Crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Hello, somebody. You know what I'm talking about. You try and say something bad about Beyonce, you see what the Beehive say to you. They'll be on your own. So
my friends there. It's really amazing.
Be ready to find your audience. Be ready to put yourself out there, because once you do that, your audience is ready to receive you, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how you see yourself. There is a percentage of the population who are gonna love you.
That's great. Thank you so
true.
much. It's brilliant. And what I love about what you said, it's like there's like a common theme to it. It's like, get rid of the stereotypes, like do some myth busting, it's public speaking is not a thing. It's, let's make it into a conversation. Let's bring your passion to the table. Let's, it's really a shift in perspective, isn't it? Like your mind is going to tell you this is this, this is that, etc. All these stories that we were saying. You get rid of that. Get rid of them and see what's there. I can actually enjoy it. It can actually be amazing. I can actually connect with my audience. So I really love that. It's really about shifting your perspective, really taking things completely in a different way. Really empowering.
Definitely. I remember reading something about it on stress. When you have stress, your hands are wet and you can feel tingling, and your whole body is changing. And when we talk about that, they are the same symptoms are excitement. And I remember reading about a public speaker was like, okay, I'm always excited to go. And it was like, what are the symptoms of excitement? The same. Your hands are getting wet and your body is weird and you have a stomachache, and that's just excitement. So stop thinking that you're stressed about going to talk in public and just think about I'm exciting. And that's the same. The mind shift is it's amazing because you're just exciting to give your message, to deliver to your audience, and that's it. Just enjoy.
Totally.
Yeah, I love how you highlight as well the connection with your passion and your authenticity. And the more you're standing there, because the mind is telling us so many stories, right? People are not going to like me, so I should be talking about this, or what if I say that? And the more you get rid of those layers of sort of interference, the more you access to who you truly are, and the better you're going to be at public speaking, and the more your message will resonate. And I think for me as well, I'll be really excited to know more about your view on that and the connection with storytelling. So how it is connecting to about, telling your story, and how does your authenticity can show up as well in that regard in public speaking. So how do you approach storytelling in general?
So storytelling is a tool for connecting and really getting people to remember us. It's one of those tools that make us unique, because every story is different. When you are sharing your message, you always have to share your personal story, your emotional story, that story that gets you connected, that people remember you for. So I love to give this example, like when I was at school. So I was never good at maths. Yeah, I will say this, like mathematics was not my thing, but actually I was good at it. I just didn't know it. I didn't have a great teacher. I was just that kid. I was really hyperactive. I was just like jumping and asking too many questions. And that would get me like on my report card, Mr. Mrs. Lisika-Minsende, Mathy's great student, 80%, 90%, talks too much. Please talk to her. She talks too much, talks too much, talks too much. I was always like that. So when it came to maths, it was already, I didn't have the motivation, and I thought I was really bad because my parents tried. They gave me math tutors and all sorts of things, but it didn't work. And then I got one of the worst teachers, Mr. Rumble. Great guy, but didn't really have any good social skills. So people like me that were asking a lot of questions because I really desperately needed the help got pushed to the side, because I was always the creative and the loud one. So we're in the classroom now, and one day he says, okay, so we're going to do this test, and the person that gets this test right is going to win a box of marathons. Now, 80s, okay, if you don't know what a marathon box is a box of Snickers bar. That's what we used to call it before. I'm a late millennial, but yeah, that's what they used to call a box of Snickers bar. They used to call it marathons. So he said, the person who gets like an A, the top 2 or the top 3 people are going to get a box of marathons. My eyes just went, something in my brain just went. And so, I went home. I don't know how I studied. I did the test. The next week, we got the results. Mr. Grumble was giving the results. Okay, Jonathan, B-. I'm so disappointed in you. Jeremy, B-. Don't know. Mathy, A minus.
Wow.
What? Now I'm a D student. Okay, I am a D student. He just went A minus, and he looked at me like, I think you cheated. He looked at me like that. Like, A minus, because all I can think to myself is Snickers bar, chocolate. Okay, that's my motivation. I mean, you know, I like Ben and Jerry's. I like my chocolate and stuff and my ice cream. So all I can think is chocolate. Come to me, okay? Snickers bar, box, big box for me. So now Mr. Rumble says, good job, Matty. And he's not saying it in like, I'm really happy for you. He's like, I just cannot believe that you did this, but good job. Okay? So big box. And the day after that, no more motivation. I went back to a D student.
Oh.
So when I tell this story, I want to tell this story because this story, when I say this story, I know a lot of people watch that. Some people have watched this video I did online about Mr. Rumble, and they always remember this story because, you know, it took a big box of Snickers bar to get me an A. It takes different things for people to remember and connect with you. Now, when you are delivering a meeting or a presentation or whatever conversation you're going to have with people in your audience, online video, whatever you're doing, you need what we call a hook. You need hooks and keywords and things that's going to get people connected and stuck on every single word. Okay. The reason why you need that is because if you don't have that, what most speakers will do is they'll start with, hi everybody, my name is Mathy Lisika-Minsende, and today I'm going to talk to you about this, and then we're going to do this, and after that we're going to do that, and also we also want to do this because this is how we're going to do. And within 30 seconds, the audience is like this.
Zapping away.
Yeah, you've lost them. You've absolutely lost them. And if you lose your audience between the first minute, the rest of any meeting that you have is doomed. And that's what Mr. Rumble was doing. Mr. Rumble was the most dry ass. I'm sorry. dry of teaching my whole life, and I need stimulation. I'm that child that needed that stimulation. I was my brain is gonna die. My brain is gonna die. And when he by accident, when he gave me a carrot, which was the hook for me, was the chocolate bar, automatically something changed. I became an which I didn't know I could be. And you see, when you are telling a story, people come with expectation when they come to listen to you. They come with an expectation, regardless of the subject. They want to understand what you're talking about because you're the expert. You are the person. Yeah. If you know that, that's great. Now, in some industries, you can have the most expertise and very refined knowledge. So tech industries, engineering, you have very specific terms, but you have to remember something. You're dealing with people. Yeah. Regardless of what industry you work with, you got to talk to people like you're talking to people. Don't talk to them like you're talking to a computer. This is not a program. This is not an app. This is not a code. You're going to lose them. Okay? They're going to remember the technical words, but if you have a manager who's never been a coder or an engineer and just knows how to deal with people to manage the team, and he's a great manager, you've lost him. You've lost anyone else in that audience. You've got to be able to find hooks that really bring people together. Yeah? Remember, a story is a hook. Is what helps you to be memorable, is what helps people to be better. And it's also how people learn better.
Yeah.
because you can go into a room where nobody likes you, and I've been there. And as soon as you have the best hook, you'll get 90 to 100% of that audience. When I was working in, I used to work with the job center. Well, the companies that I used to work with, I used to give career advice to the job center. The job center, for you guys, I guess, is the Pôle Emploi. Yeah. You guys in France, yeah. So the job center is like the agency that helps people to find work. So a lot of the people that used to go and help were people that they were forced to come to these programs for our companies. Yeah. We used to get the monies to deliver the programs, and they were forced to be there. Now, our service was voluntary, so they didn't have to take it, but they had to sit in my presentation for them to decide whether they didn't want to make it. So the pressure was, I had to convince these people who came to the office and they were already like this. Like, I hate you. It's a waste of time. Okay?
You want to be here.
Yeah, I don't want to be here. Okay, I'm just being here because I have to sign. I have to get some money, and then I have to go. Okay, that's the way. That's the way.
Quick.
Yeah, exactly. So these people already didn't want to be there, and every presentation, I would be at home in the evening. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to find a new strategy to get these come on board, because I'm going to get 90% of these people to sign up. I'm going to get them to sign up to our program. I'm going to do that. And my retention was always 90%, 90%, 90%, 90%. Wow. Because I came in and I dealt with issues. I told the best stories. I made it fun. And by the time we finished, everybody was already signing up. Yeah, I want to work with you guys. Wow. Yeah. And it's all about the connection, because you're dealing with very difficult subjects. And everybody has different ways of, of digesting that information. As we say, we digest. Everybody has a different way of digesting content. So if you find a way that's best, that helps you to digest the content, you're going to have the best results. Yeah. That's why stories are powerful. Stories are not, stories, you may forget everything else, but you remember a story about something. Yeah. And you connect to that person every time you see that. That's why people remember pancake burgers. Yeah.
You guys are going to remember that, aren't you? And I love how you demonstrated that. You just walked the talk by telling us the powerful story. So and the connections with motivation, the memory, the fun of it, and ultimately the goal. So the goal for you in this job center, for example, was to help those guys. They needed help, and maybe they weren't realizing that you could be of service, that you really genuinely wanted to help them, right? I love that, because I think for some people, they might think that they were going to try to manipulate, the audience, and they're going to try to trick them, sell them something. And for a lot of people, there's a resistance there. While again, if your perspective shifts and it's about delivering your service, it's about having an impact, it's about how you can change people's life by what you do, and how you can deliver that message more authentically, but also more efficiently for them. But ultimately, the goal, the end goal, is always the same. Is always to have this highest realization of yourself, and also having the biggest impact that you can have. So really, really important, guys. And I think, Mathy, you've really demonstrated that super, super powerfully. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
You
always have to go in a room thinking that I'm going to win these people. I'm not here to manipulate them. Authenticity is about winning people. You have to woo them. You have to make them fall in love with you. Yeah? It's just like any kind of relationship. When you meet a guy or a girl and you think, oh my God, he's so cute. Does he like me? Oh my God. Oh, he's looking at me. I hope he likes me. I hope he likes me. I hope he's single. I hope he's single. Oh, he is. Oh my God. Yeah, sure. You know, you've naturally won that person over. You didn't have to use techniques or tactics. It came naturally because you took the step, but in your mind, you were like, I'm going to be flexible. I'm going to be open. I'm going to be myself regardless. And I'm really going to try and make that connection work. If it doesn't work, it's okay. But my aim is to really win that person over in a non-icky, you know, kind of
fake
way, you know. And that's the best possible options to make things work, really.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Because our March theme was about being assertive, can you tell us more on how to improve our confidence and our authenticity, as you say?
So, you know, the thing about assertiveness is something that I have struggled my whole life. Okay. Wow. And people are like, no, you're always confident. And I'm gonna tell you, okay, I know it's on all the platforms. I was confident, but I always had some self-esteem. And for you to really be able to become more assertive, you've got to work on yourself. You've got to work on your self-esteem, but you have to work. I believe that the mental works with the spiritual and works with the physical. You've got to make it work together. So a big thing for me is to exercise. I have to exercise regularly. Otherwise, my mind is going to keep telling me, well, you know what? You didn't even do that. So you're not even all of that. You know, all these things that people used to say to you about school, yeah, that's you, okay? So my mind is starting to play tricks on me. But when I exercise in the morning and I stretch, I go for a walk, for a run, I dance, I swim, it really does help me to get the energy that I need. And I also spend time with prayer, meditation. I do affirmation, a lot of affirmation, and that really helped me. Sometimes I have to do it more than other times because those are the things that help me. And being assertive starts with, you know, taking small steps, taking small risk in things that you are maybe not so confident in doing. So doing things that make you feel uncomfortable, doing it small by little. So like if you don't feel comfortable talking to a stranger, you know, you've got your personal affirmation, but you also have to, when you go outside, you have to try and say, hi, nice day.
What time is it?
Yeah. Even if you inside of you remember you like that. So you say, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Now you've actually steps, and every time you take little steps within all the other self-care that you give to yourself, it really does help to improve your confidence, your self-esteem, assertiveness. But it's really working on what's happening inside. I know it's perfect. Okay. Days when I have zero energy. That's the honest truth. And I have to say, okay, Mathy, okay, I know you're not going through a great moment. But you know, look at all the other things you've done. And sometimes I actually need friends and I need other people to remind me that I am that person, because it's easy to forget. And it's especially for women, it's even more difficult for us to be assertive. So like you might have 10 out of 10 to apply for a certain job, or you might have, you know, natural ability, natural skills to in engineering or in technology, and you got this guy who's got like 3 things and he thinks he can do the job, and he is just like, I'm gonna take it, I don't care. But you're in your corner saying, I don't have it yet, I have to get it, I have to get everything perfect.
Yeah.
The truth is, you don't have to be perfect. So when I look at assertiveness, I don't just look at it as, some people might say, well, do the affirmation, then you're fine. I look at it at the fact that you've got to look after your personal physical health. You've got to look after your personal mental state. You've got to look at your spiritual state. And you've got to bring all these things together. And you've got to give yourself time. Give yourself time. Have a structure of things, of people that will also help you to remind you when you don't have that level of assertiveness.
Yeah, the structure that brings the consistency around you, and as everything is connected, right? If your environment and people around you aren't consistent with that, it's not going to, it's important that it's part of your support, internally, externally, everything is really, it has to be congruent.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Critical. Amazing. Yeah. So should we talk about pancake burgers a little bit now, do you think?
Yay!
And it's like,
yay! So not giving away too much, I guess, because I think people should really watch your TED Talk.
Sure. Pancake burgers. The story behind pancake burgers. So so a couple of years ago, I did my first talk, and I'm definitely planning to do another one at one point. And my TED Talk was about the future of work, but also pancake burgers. And it came from the fact that when I started the story, my hook in the future of work, I talked about the comparison between children, the way children think, the way adults think. Way the flexibilities of how we see ourselves, and the way things things change and how we adapt. So I mentioned that the future of work was child's play, because in the world that we live in, and this was I think this was 2012 at the time when I did the TED Talk, working online, digital was a booming thing. No one really understood people that work from home, because I was already working from home in my pajamas. And my friends were like, when are you going to get a real job? I was like, but I already get a real job. I already have a real job. But they were like, yeah, things like you post stuff online, that's not really a real job, is it? I was like, it pays my rent, and I'm going down, I'm doing stuff. So it is a real job. So that concept of, working in an office, working here, working in a different country it was there because I was part of that world, but not a lot of people were familiar with it. Like now everybody's like, oh my God, working from home. I'm just like, yeah, you guys are late to the party, mate. You're so late. But so the concept of the fact that we have to become more flexible and adaptable, and we have to be more open, and the story came because I was at my friend's house, and they had two kids. They had a 2-year-old and a 2.5-year-old and a 10-year-old. And the 2.5-year-old is like is like a toddler. So he has a huge imagination, and he had like a Play-Doh, and I was like, oh, what are you doing? And he was like, Auntie Matty, I'm making pancake burgers. Like, burgers? I've never had that before. I was like, oh, cool. Let me see. And so we were pretending to eat, obviously, because he's a kid. So I'm playing with him. So even if it's not real or whatever he's having, we're going to pretend. We're going to play. And his sister was like, that's stupid. No, pancake burgers don't exist. I'm like, but why not? It could exist. You just don't know it. Maybe it's already been made. And we were just having a conversation, and she was being negative because she's older. She's still a kid, but she's older, and she's been all of that stuff. and her brother was like, yeah, look, it's cute. And he was trying to give it to his older sister, and he's like, go away. And she was pregnant with the third baby at the time. And she says, yeah, I don't know, but if you think it exists, then Google it. So we Googled pancake burgers, and pancake burgers exist.
Yeah.
Well,
Pancake burgers are literally, and guess what? We've all had pancake burgers before. We just didn't know. It's the, when you go to McDonald's,
yeah.
breakfast, you get pancakes and you get burgers.
Right.
Burgers.
Right. Yeah.
But we didn't know he existed, and the 2-year-old just created it in his mind. He said, I'm making pancake burgers, because he liked burgers and he liked pancakes. And the reason I gave that story is because, like, it is so easy now to be able to create your own type of work, to be able to have your own way of working, your own identity. The future of work is not just going to a regular office job. It could be you're working from home or you're working from an office. Now we have this new type of interesting word called the hybrid jobs. I've been reading about it. But your mind has to be open to that flexibility. You have to be ready to be able to use Zoom, and to be able to use different platforms, and to be able to use social media, and to be able to learn certain things. And when you don't, you are quite behind in a way. I've been to places and government places that I've worked with, and it's like, oh, you do all of that? And I'm like, yeah, I do the filming, the teaching, the workshops. I write them, I film, I edit, and then I do that for other people. And and then I promote everything. And like, how do you do that? I'm like, I'm just flexible and open and ready and willing. If someone says, okay, we got to learn to do this, I'm ready and open to do that, because it's a new thing, and you've got to be able to be open, be childlike, be able to mold your mind and mold your thinking, because if you don't, you're going to sink. And you're going to be all the way down here. So, when I teach career coaching and career training, a few years ago, CVs, before my time, CVs used to be 3-4 pages. But when I got to the game, CVs had to be 2 pages. And that's like the norm in the UK. It's always 2 pages. I know in France, it's 1 page.
Just one.
Very strange for me. But you go with that.
Yeah.
You try not to go beyond or under, because those are kind of the unspoken rules. Yeah, because that's going to help you to get to where you want to go. So in hindsight, I guess the whole pancake burger is that you've got to be ready for the impossible, because the pancake burger is not what you expect it to be. The pancake burger is that opportunity, that job, that new business that you didn't imagine you were going to have. And that's basically kind of been my empowerment journey, really. So that's my pancake burger expertise.
That's amazing. Being limitless, being just so open. And I love how the fun also that the child's play dimension brings to the table as well. I mean, this is really what we all want, what we're all craving, the enjoyment, the possibility, the openness. So it's really
that's what we said about this podcast: living by your own rules while being happy, being fulfilled. That's amazing.
100%. 100%. So let's take everyone home with the little tips to your younger self, if you're up for that. So let's imagine you could go back in time and go back to your younger self. What sort of tips would you like to share?
Don't listen to those people that tell you that your ideas are stupid.
Yay.
Don't listen to them. Start as soon as possible. The first idea you have in your mind, do it. Try it over and over again. Make as many mistakes as possible. Mistakes are good. Maybe become that artist. I wanted to be an artist when I was a kid, and because I draw. I very much in the creative industry, and I ended up in career coaching, and out of, that accident, I guess, again. But my teacher said to me, "Oh, you're gonna have to get a real job because, art doesn't really sell." So it hurt my self-esteem straight away. And like, if I had seen, or if I had just taken more steps early, I would have probably been able to do like a graphic designer or something. But I don't regret that, because I still have that creativity through videos, which is something I love doing as well, and speaking. So it's more of an art for me than anything else. So I would definitely say, don't listen to people. And a lot of people that sometimes they say negative things just because the truth is they are really jealous. That's not a joke. It's the truth, 100%. Okay. Or they're just envious because you take more risk, and those risks make them comfortable. Sometimes it's your family, sometimes it's your close friends, and they might not be jealous, they're just afraid for you. They don't want you to feel pain. But the problem is, like, you gotta they have to let you be free. They have to let you be who you are. So make sure you have the right people. Don't get rid of all of your friends, but make sure you have the right mentors, friends, support groups as early as possible. And and use that as a soil so that you can grow. So that's what I would say to my younger self.
Lovely. Great.
Beautiful.
Yeah, amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, guys. How much fun that was.
Thank you, Mathy.
Thank you so much. I will love your energy and what you bring, and just the walking the talk, just the whole podcast was just exactly what you describe, what you demonstrate to be doing. So thanks a lot. We've learned a lot from you today. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to meet Anna for the first time. Clemens,
nice to meet you too.
Face virtually. We connected online, but it's been a pleasure. It's been a real pleasure, and I'd love to also hear, what would you say to your younger self as well?
Cool.
So many things. We say tips to our younger selves at every episode, so so many things.
Absolutely. So we can send you to the episode, because we recorded this theme, just the two of us. So yeah, it will be a pleasure to share with you. So guys, you'll have all the links to connect with the wonderful Mathy alongside with the episode. So please don't hesitate to connect with her. Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. And please share, please subscribe, please do everything with our podcast. We can't wait to hear from you as well at the EmpowHer Journey at gmail.com. Have a lovely day and see you soon.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye, guys.
Thanks again, Mathy.